policymakers and community leaders need to know the vital role fathers play in their children's lives. We let them know by showing how programs like Project Fatherhood strengthen families and communities.
Our policymakers and our city leaders, our federal leaders, our state leaders need to take a better look at what's going on, what has been presented. I do personally believe that Southern California and Los Angeles are far behind many of the other cities and states across the nation, especially in the East Coast and in the South.
There's a lot more that's needed if we're really going to bring fatherhood to the forefront. I think we need sustainable funds that carries programs for several years. It'd take you 3 or 4 years to really get an integrated fatherhood program. You can't do it in a year. Many organizations and agencies need technical assistance, but technical assistance that relates to the population, relates to the culture, relates to the issues.
Prior to Project Fatherhood coming on board, I don't think people really thought of homeless men in the role of a father. Once we got the grant, we realized just what a need there was for this kind of program, because really when we're talking about putting someone's life back together, we're talking about sobriety and getting them back reintegrated into society. We really need to heal that part of their life, which is reconnecting with their children.
When Dr. Swinger meets with Judge Nash, and talks about getting Project Fatherhood on the referral list for the courts, that helps us. We get referrals now.
So I think that we need a bigger commitment in this area, not for the short run, not just to address the problems, but to address society in general.
I would like to see the movement develop to the point that the strength and vitality that men can bring to the neighborhood would anchor the neighborhoods in such a way that their children would need public services nearly at the rate that they do today. One guy comes to mind. He's very hostile. He was so frightening to the social workers that they had 2 security guards available when he would visit his children. The social worker came over and he was making all this noise, and the social worker, when she saw frightened, I said, listen, we don't get, that doesn't frighten me. I said, that's not anger, that's pain. And he started talking about how much he loved the child and how much the child cared for him and how much he cared for the child and how people were blocking him and keeping him from that. And as he started talking, he started crying. And so he started crying, and then the social worker started crying. And as they were crying, they got all of her fear left her. And he happened to have been going to group that night. And at night he said, I've never felt such love from a social worker in my life as I did from her. From that day forward, there was no problem.